Hi, I'm Michael Foley, former member of the Canadian National Kickboxing Team, BJJ Black Belt, and Kempo Karate Black Belt. And today, I'm going to show you guys how to get into your basic kickboxing stance. We're going to do this in 3 parts. The first is going to be the stance. The second part is going to be your guard. And then the third part is going to be some basic movement. I'm teaching these 3 things together so you'll know how to maintain your stance while moving around the ring and keeping your guard up. First things first, I'm going to take a step back with my right foot because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you're going to do it with your left foot. So because I'm right-handed, I'm stepping back with my right foot. My weight's on the balls of my feet. My knees are slightly bent, but not too much. From here, I'm going to reach forward with my hands and bring them back to my face like this. Let's talk about your guard quickly. Reaching your hands out front, making fists, and pulling them back to your body here. What we're looking for is your hands just below your eye line or just above them, and your elbows in front of your body. What we don't want to see is your hands framing your face or your elbows on the side of your body. So reaching out front and pulling them back to your body is the easiest way to set this up. The second we add movement, stances tend to break down and fall apart. This is a simple way to move in your stance and maintain stance integrity. We're going to get in our stance, get our guard up, and now we're going to start moving around while maintaining this. The rules are simple. Whatever direction you're going to go in, that's the foot you step with. If I want to go forward, I step with my front foot first. If I want to go back, I step with my back foot. If I want to go to my right, I step with my right foot. And if I want to go left, I step with my left foot. My trailing leg, my trailing foot, that's my power foot. That's the one I push off of. So if I want to step forward, I'm stepping with my front foot, but I'm also pushing off my back foot. If I'm attaching a punch with that step, pushing off my back leg is how I generate power for that punch. Here's a quick little exercise you can do to maintain stance integrity and your guard while moving around. First, get in your stance. Now from here, practice pushing off with your back foot, stepping in with your front foot, and then catching up with your back foot. Then step back, then step to the right, then step to the left. And if you can maintain your stance while moving around here at a slow speed, you can gradually start to speed it up and do a little bit of movement here. And lastly, once you've mastered a good stance, a good guard, and basic movement, what I want you to practice is every time you move your foot, attach a jab to it. I'm gonna practice pushing off with my back foot, stepping with my front foot, and reaching with my jab. When I step backwards, I push off with my front foot, step with my back foot, reach with my jab. To the right, to the left, front, back, right, left. And today we're going to talk about basic head movement for boxing, kickboxing, and MMA striking. We're going to talk about how to move your head off of your basic punch combinations that we covered in the last video. You're not going to need any specialized equipment for this, and you're not going to need a partner. We'll save that for the intermediate video. So there's 4 types of head movement we're going to work on. We're going to work on slipping, rolling, drop, and pull. We're also going to talk about when to do each type of head movement. So before, during, and after you finish punching. So first things first, like always, we get in our basic kickboxing stance. Step back with my right foot because I'm right-handed. Reach your hands out front, make fists, and draw them back in. From this position here, the first type of head movement we're going to do is called the slip. The slip is something you can do before, after, or even during a punch. And it looks like this. I'm going to turn my shoulder, shrug, so that my shoulder becomes close to my jaw, and then I'm going to bend my front leg like this. When I do it quick, then to the other side. I turn my shoulder, push off with my front foot, bend my back foot, shrug my shoulder into my jaw, and I should be looking in the direction that my opponent is and where that punch is coming from. Again. And quick. A good way to train your slip from your stance is to shift your weight from side to side. If I want to slip to my left, I'm going to push off with my right foot, turn my right shoulder until it comes in contact with my jaw, and I bend my left leg and I sink down onto that leg. Then I come back, I do the opposite. I push off my left foot, turn my shoulder into my jaw, and sink to my right foot, and then come back. And to do it quickly, so taking my head off the line of fire from my opponent. The next type of head movement we're going to do is a roll. Sometimes it's called a bob and weave. It's an extension of the slip. So what I'm going to do, I push off my right foot, turn my right shoulder forward, sink onto my left foot. Now from here, I'm going to bend my legs, roll underneath, transferring my weight from my left foot back to my right foot, and I end up in the slip position on the right side. And from here, back to the middle. Again, I push off my right, turn my right shoulder to the front, sink down to my left foot. Now from here, I'm gonna drop, bend my legs, shift my weight from my left foot to my right foot. I end up in the slip position on the right side, then come back to the middle. A little quicker. And to the right. The third type of head movement we're going to talk about is the drop. So what it looks like is this. From here, all I'm going to do is bring my guard to the front. I'm going to get my knuckles up to my forehead, above my eyebrows, and I bend both legs straight down, and then up, and then up, and up. From the side, guard comes to the front, my chin drops, my knuckles come right here above my eyebrows, and I bend both legs. And the last one we're going to talk about today, it's called the pull. It looks like this. I'm in my stance. I'm going to step back with my trailing leg. So for me, that's my right leg. I step away with it, and I'm going to bend that leg, and I'm going to lean back into this position. Some fighters like to turn their shoulder forward as a guard right here, but some famous boxers like Floyd Mayweather Jr. open up. So they're almost square when they do it. We're not going to be Floyd Mayweather here. So for practice, what I want you to do is you're going to step back, glove up, and come forward. Step back, glove up, and forward. From the side, step back, I shift my weight to my back foot, my front glove comes up, and then forward. Shift back, come forward. Shift back, come forward. And here's arguably the most important part, when to do head movement. Typically speaking, when students start out here brand new, we get them in their stance, we get their guard in position, then we teach them basic punches. The next phase, it's to move their head after they finish punching. If you and I are squared off and we're gonna fight, and I hit you with a jab cross, I don't wanna just stand here, because you're gonna block those shots or move your head, and my head's gonna be right on the line of fire. So what I wanna do instead is I'm gonna step in, throw my jab, and then my cross. Now I have a choice to make. What type of head movement am I gonna do? Whatever hand you finish with is the side you're gonna exit your head to. So I'm finishing with my right hand. So from here, I'm gonna bring my hand back to my guard. But as I do that, I'm gonna turn my left shoulder forward, bend my right leg, and I'm gonna slip to my right, and then reset. So a little quicker, it looks like this. Jab, cross, slip, reset. Again, jab, cross, slip, reset. If I want to slip to my left side, I'm going to do so when I finish with my left hand. I'm going to throw a cross and then a hook. Now from here, my head's going to slip to the left side. So as I bring my hand back to my guard, I'm going to roll my right shoulder forward, bend my left leg, and slip to here, and then reset. So cross, hook, slip, reset, cross, hook, slip, reset. The next type of head movement is rolling, and off your jab cross, it looks like this. I throw my jab and I throw my cross. Now, because when I throw my cross, my head moves slightly towards my left, slipping is not always the best choice because I have to bring my head back across the line of fire with my opponent. So sometimes it's a better idea to throw your jab cross. Now from here, I'm gonna drop straight down as my hand comes up to my guard, and I'm gonna switch my weight to my back leg, and then I come up over here. So I throw my jab, my cross, and I roll underneath the line of fire and reset. Jab, cross, roll. Same thing with the cross hook. Cross, hook from here, drop down to my right foot, guard's intact, roll underneath the line of fire, and reset. Cross, hook, roll underneath. Cross, hook, roll underneath. Quick. The third option is to drop. A drop is simple enough. You throw your jab, your cross. As you bring your guard back to your forehead, you're going to drop straight down. And from here, I push off and step out. So jab, cross, drop. Jab, cross, drop. And the last one is a pull. From here, I throw my jab, cross, I pull straight back here. And this is a great one to counter off of, and it looks like this. I throw my jab, cross, I pull, and then I throw another cross. Jab, cross, pull, cross. Jab, cross, pull, cross. From the side, jab, cross, pull, cross. Jab, cross, pull, cross. Let's talk about how to put it all together. The punches you choose are arbitrary. It can be basic single punches. It can be combinations of punches. It can be strung together combinations of punches. But how you string them together, how you exit your combinations, and how you finish single punches should include some head movement. So the first one looks like this. You're gonna start off, you're gonna throw a single punch. So for me, it'll be a jab, and I'm gonna slip. When I have that down, I'm gonna jab, and I'm gonna roll. When I have that down, it's gonna be a jab and a drop. And when I've got that down, it's a jab and a pull. And I can do this with any single punch. So cross, slip, cross, roll, cross, drop, cross, pull, and then I can put together two punch combinations. Jab, cross, slip, jab, cross, roll, jab, cross, drop, jab, cross, pull. Then I can build up to three punch combinations. Jab, cross, hook, slip, jab, cross, hook, roll, jab, cross, hook, drop, jab, cross, hook, pull. Once you've got those fundamentals down and you're starting to feel comfortable, now it's time to play with this a little bit and get a little creative. So what I want you to do is take your stance, go through any punch combination you want to throw, and practice stringing together your head movement between your punch combinations. It looks like this. Jab, cross, slip. Jab, cross, hook, slip. Jab, cross, roll. Today, I'm going to give you the fundamentals of footwork and a few drills to get you started. So a couple of rules about footwork. Whatever direction you want to go, that's the foot you step with. What I mean by that is this. If I'm in my stance and I want to go forward, I have to step with my front foot. If I want to go back, I step with my back foot. If I want to go to my right, I step with my right foot. And if I want to go to my left, I step with my left foot. From the front, when I want to go forward, I step with my front foot. Back, I step with my back foot. To the right, I step with my right foot. To the left, I step with my left foot. I don't want to lead with my front foot. I don't want to reach, because what's going to happen is, in order to pick my front foot up off the floor, I'm unintentionally shifting my weight towards my back foot to pick my front foot up so I can stretch with it. Instead, what I want to do is I want to push off with my back foot when I want to step forward. And as my weight is shifting to my front foot, I'm going to pick my knee up just a little tiny bit and step forward. When I make that step forward, my next move is to catch up with my back foot. So I push off my back foot, pick up my front foot to step forward, and then immediately catch up with my back foot. The biggest mistake I see people make here is when they take a step with their front foot, sometimes the distance traveled by each foot isn't the same. Beginners especially, they'll take a big step with their front foot and too big of a step with their back foot. Or they'll take a big step with their front foot and too small of a step with their back foot. Now the stance changes. So keep in mind, when you're in your basic kickboxing stance, the distance between your 2 feet, try to keep this intact. I want you to get comfortable in your stance and then take stock of how this feels and try to duplicate that with every step you make when you're moving around. With those things in mind, here's what I want you to practice first. Get into your kickboxing stance. Now from here, I want you to practice pushing off with your back foot, stepping in with your front foot, and catching up with your back foot. Now step back by pushing off with your front foot, stepping away with your back foot, and then catching up with your front foot. When you step to your right, you're also going to add a little lean with your lead shoulder as you step with your right foot. That's going to help you load your weight onto the ball of your front foot and then catch up with that foot. So again, it looks like this. Again. And same thing for the left. A little turn with my back shoulder, loading my weight onto the ball of this foot. Then I'm going to step to the left with my left foot, push off with my right foot, and then catch up. Again. Once you've got that down, we're going to add a punch to it. Anytime you push a foot into the floor to get your body moving in a direction, you can throw your jab with it. So if I want to step forward, I'm going to push my back foot into the floor, step with my front foot, and as I'm pushing my back foot into the floor, it's like the gas pedal on a car. As you push, the car goes. In this case, the car is my punch. So I'm going to push off my back foot, extend my jab, and as my jab's extending, I step. Then I catch up with my back foot. When I go backwards, same thing. I push my front foot into the floor, step back with my back foot, and as I'm pushing my foot into the floor, I throw my jab, then I catch up. When I go to my right, same thing. Left, forward, back, right, left. One of the best ways to train fluidity with your footwork is by skipping. But this is also a fantastic tool for training this type of footwork on the floor. I'll show you what I mean. You're going to take the rope and you're going to spread it out on the floor and you're going to stand behind it here. You're going to go through the same movements we're doing. I'm going to push off with my back foot, step with my front foot, pick my front foot up just high enough to clear the rope, and I catch up with my back foot. Now I'm going to push off with my front foot, step with my back foot, and clear the rope with my front foot. Again, I step over, I step back. Over, back. Once you got that down, you're going to make it a little more difficult by taking 2 steps in either direction. Without looking at the rope, I'm going to push off with my back foot, step with my front foot, clear the rope, then catch up. Now, without looking at the rope again, I'm going to do the same thing coming forward. When I go back, I'm going to push off with my front foot, step with my back foot, clear the rope, and then I'm going to do it again. When you get that down, you're going to move a little quicker. When you've got that down, you're going to try this sideways. So I'm going to turn away from the rope here. My back foot is going to start just a couple of inches away from the rope. I'm going to look in this direction. I'm going to push off with my front foot, step to my right, catch up with my front foot, then I'm going to do it again. When I go back, I do the same thing, stepping with my left foot. And then a little quicker. Once you've got that down, we're gonna add a punch. You're gonna start in your stance, push your back foot into the floor, step with your front foot, and extend your jab. And you're gonna do it again. And you go backwards. And the same thing going sideways. The last one, you're gonna throw a jab on your first step, but then a jab cross on your second step. And you're gonna do this in all 4 directions. So going forwards, it looks like this. Step jab, cross. Step jab, cross. Step jab, cross. And to the side, jab, cross. Jab, cross. Let's add a second rope to the mix. So once you have all those other drills down, you're gonna put 2 ropes in a cross on the floor like this, and you're gonna stand in the middle of it. Try to perform this without looking down at all. You should be able to do it by feel. To start, I'm gonna step in and I'm gonna throw my jab, and I'm gonna step back and throw a jab. Then I'm gonna step out, throw a jab, step in and throw a jab. Then to my right, back to the middle, then to my left, back to the middle. And I should be able to do that without touching either one of the skipping ropes. Then I'm gonna do the same thing with the jab cross. So from here, step in, jab cross, step back, jab cross. Back again, and in again. To the right, to the middle, to the left, to the middle. Once you can do a full 2 or 3 minute round of moving with your footwork here and not touching either one of the ropes, not messing them up, then what I want you to do is this. Take the ropes. You're gonna do the exact same thing on the floor without the need for the ropes. If you employ these drills, pretty soon you'll be able to move around the ring nice and smooth and have fantastic footwork. Today, I'm gonna teach you guys how to punch. First things first, we need to talk about how to make a fist. One of the biggest problems with punching is making impact with the wrong part of your hand. What I want you to do is you're gonna stretch your fingers out like this, then you're gonna curl your knuckles back underneath here. When you do this, I want you guys to wrap your fingers underneath like this, and then your thumb goes over the top of your fingers like this, locking this position. Most hand injuries I see from punching happen when people make impact with the wrong part of their fist. You wanna make impact with your top 2 knuckles right here, from your index finger and your middle finger, and you want it to be as flat to the surface that you're hitting as possible. There are several different philosophies on how to punch. One philosophy is that you keep your hand open until the very last second before you punch, and then you make a fist before you make impact. The problem with that is it doesn't account for if my opponent moves towards me with their forehead or pulls back, leaving their chest as the target that I'm gonna hit. In that situation, when my hand actually makes impact with their head, my fist isn't gonna be completely closed. So I'm gonna be hitting with my smaller finger, my smaller knuckles, or with an open fist. And personally speaking, that's how I've broken my hand on several occasions. I've broken the carpal right here on my wrist 3 times, and the metacarpal here on my hand twice, because my opponent moved towards me as I was throwing the punch, thinking that I was gonna make a fist at the last second before impact. Once you know how to make a proper fist, take notice on the shape of your wrist. If there is a bump in your wrist here, there's a good chance that it's gonna buckle this way on contact. If it dips like this, there's a good chance that it's gonna buckle this way on impact, and you're also gonna be hitting with the wrong part of your hand. So what we're looking for is a slight bump right here, and your knuckles to be in line with your forearm bones, like this, all the way back to your elbow. What I've learned in my own experience is how to keep my elbow and my shoulder loose while also making a fist as I punch. What I used to do was try to keep my elbow and my shoulder loose and keep my hand relaxed, throw the punch with a snap from the shoulder and clench a fist at the last possible second. That's how I broke my hand in the first place. What I now do instead is make a fist as solid as I can, and I want you guys to try this. Make a fist as solid as you can, flex, really squeeze your fist, and notice that you're flexing at the elbow and the shoulder. What I want you to do is keep this solid fist, but relax your elbow and your shoulder here. So your hands are solid, but your elbows and shoulders are nice and loose. Now from here, we can throw snappy punches while maintaining the integrity of our fist. There's only 3 types of punches: straights, hooks, and uppercuts. Everything else is a variation of one of those. Today, we're gonna learn 2 versions of the straight, 1 hook, and 1 uppercut. These make up the basic punches that you'd need for boxing, kickboxing, and MMA striking. Now let's get in our kickboxing stance. I'm gonna step back with my right foot, reach my hands out front, pull them back towards my face here. My jab works off of my lead arm. I'm gonna push my back foot into the floor, take a little step with my front foot, and then I throw my jab. When you throw this punch, it's very important that you lead with your weapon first. Your hand should lead your upper body when it moves forward. What a lot of beginners do is they step in, stop their body weight, and then try to drive just with their arm, just with the strength of their arm. What I want to see instead is you start to extend your arm, thumbs up, pinkies down, start to extend your arm, push off your back foot, and the weight of your body should be behind your punch just before it makes impact with the target. The next punch is your cross. So again, I'm in my kickboxing stance here. I'm gonna push off my back foot, step in with my front foot, and as I do that, I'm gonna slide my back foot up, dig it into the floor, and I push off here. I wanna rotate my hip, extend my hand, turn it over, and bring it back. So it looks like this. Something I always tell new students, when you're throwing straight punches, imagine there is a tube right here in front of you, like a pipe. And when you throw your straight punches, you want to extend your hand all the way down the pipe, reach all the way through to the other side, and then bring it back all the way down the pipe. And this is true for both punches here. What I don't want to see is your elbows flare. That usually happens when people try to use their arms to throw the punches. They draw back and fire here. Keep the pipe in mind, right here in front of your face, elbows down, thumbs up. You punch down the pipe nice and straight, and instead of flaring your elbow at the last second to turn your punch over, you're actually gonna turn it over in your shoulder socket and bring it back all the way down the pipe, all the way back. From the side, it looks like this. All the way down the pipe, all the way back, and turn over with your shoulder at the last possible second, as opposed to flaring your elbow. So again, go from this side, all the way down the pipe, turn over, all the way back. And my jab, all the way down the pipe, turn over, and bring it back. Okay, let's talk about my favorite punch. It's the lead hand hook. When you throw a hook, you're going to push off your back foot, step in with your front foot, slide up your back foot, and then turn your shoulders over here. You want to get your head over your front foot and your back shoulder to your chin right here. Now from here, what I want to do is I want to use my coiled up energy from my leg being bent, my hips twisting to the left, and my left shoulder sitting to the back. And off of that coiled up energy, I want to push my leg straight and twist out of this, rotate my shoulder, and throw the hook. That's a little wide. What I'd rather you guys do than flare your elbow that wide is from here, again, we're gonna throw like we're punching down the pipe, nice and tight. I'm gonna bring my shoulder to my jaw, And at the last second, if my target is here, I want to concentrate on getting my elbow up here and punching through the target here. I want to concentrate on punching all the way through, like I'm gonna try to hit myself in the back shoulder. We're never gonna get there because we're gonna bring up solid on our opponent's jaw. But again, we step in with the jab, step up with the cross, turn over and put our head out over our front foot, back shoulder nice and tight to my jaw, coil up my body, make sure my lead shoulder's in the back. From here, I'm gonna push out of my bent leg, rotate my shoulder forward, start to extend my punch right here, and then pop my elbow up and punch through as I twist in my stance. And then reset. Now, the uppercut. Here's how this one works. I'm in my stance. From here, it's gonna be the same footwork as my cross. I step in with my front foot, catch up with my back foot, but from here I'm gonna do something different with my shoulder. Instead of extending my fist like I was gonna throw across, I'm actually gonna bring my lead shoulder back. So I step in the same way as a cross, but I bring my lead shoulder back. Now from here, I'm gonna push off my back leg, rotate my shoulder, and my hand right here, I don't wanna extend it all the way down here. That's a common mistake I see people make, is they bring their hand all the way back to here, throw their hip, and then swing through with their arm. This is very much dependent on your legs and the rotation of your shoulder. So when you throw an uppercut, you step in, bring this shoulder back. You're only gonna bring your hand away from your face a little bit. You're gonna flare your elbow off your body just a bit. You're gonna drive off your back leg and rotate to here. Now from here, my fist should be lined up underneath my partner's chin. I'm gonna drive my hips forward and rotate my lead shoulder back here. So again, I step in with my front foot, catch up with my back foot and sit my shoulder back. From here, bring my hand away from my face a little bit and my elbow off my ribs a little bit. From here, I rotate my hips, drive my hips forward, roll my lead shoulder back and uppercut on through and then reset. So from the front, 2 steps, bring my rear shoulder back, hand leaves my face a little bit, elbow off the body, rotate, hips go in, lead shoulder goes back, throw the uppercut, and reset. Here's the relationship between those 4 punches. The end of one punch should be the perfect starting position for the next punch. What I mean by that is this. If I push off my back foot and step in with my front foot, leading with my hand, I just threw a jab. From this position here, it should just be another little movement to step up with my back foot, roll my shoulders, and throw a cross. At the end of my cross, I should be in the perfect position to throw a hook. And at the end of the hook, I should be in the perfect position to throw the uppercut. Okay, again from the side. If I push off my back foot, step with my front foot, extend my jab, I should be in the perfect position to step up with my back foot, turn my hip, throw the cross. From here, I should be in the perfect position to turn over to throw the hook. And at the end of my hook, I should be in the perfect position to turn over and throw the uppercut. Here's a drill you guys can do just for rhythm. You're gonna rotate in your stance, jab, cross, hook, uppercut. And these should flow one into another. I'm concentrating on making a tight fist by keeping loose with my elbows and shoulders. And from the side. So I'm gonna use my good buddy Bob here to help me show you how to make impact with a punch. When you make impact with a punch, your top 2 knuckles has to hit the target area. If you hit with any other part of your hand, you risk damaging your wrist, your knuckles, or the bones right here in your hand. So here's what I want you to do. When you throw your jab, your goal is to always hit the mask of the face right here. I'm gonna practice by pushing off with my back foot, stepping with my front foot, and I just wanna snap my jab on the surface area of my opponent. Every time you punch, make sure your shoulder comes in contact with your chin around the same time your knuckles come in contact with your opponent. Here. With my cross, my target below the cheekbone and in front of the ear. Anywhere on the jaw right here is a great target for your cross. You never want to lead with your cross. You always want to throw your cross when you've already been able to make contact with your jab. What I mean by that is, if I throw my jab to measure the distance between my opponent and I can't hit them, I never want to throw my cross because I'm gonna reach, I'm gonna miss, I'm gonna leave myself open. Your jab then becomes a specific tool for measuring the distance between you and your opponent. What I mean by that is this. I'm squared up with my opponent, I'm throwing some jabs, seeing how they react. I'm never gonna throw my cross, my hook, or my uppercut until I've already made impact with my jab. When I make impact with my jab, I know where my opponent is. That's when I wanna start following with power punches. Your jab is a measuring tool. Your cross, your hook, your uppercut, those are the ones that you're really trying to make impact with. When you're able to touch with your jab, stop moving your feet, plant your feet, your power punches, and sit down on your punches. What I mean by that is if I'm able to move on my jab, I want to sit down when I throw power punches like my cross, my hook, and my uppercut. When you throw your cross, turn it over, straight punch, down the pipe, shoulder hits my jaw, and I make impact with my top two knuckles. This side of the cheek, this side of his jaw is the side I want to hit with the hook. Depending on the height of my opponent, the distance between the two of us, that's going to determine where my elbow is with my hook. How I like to throw my hooks personally is this. Off my cross, I'm down here. I want to corkscrew my punch up on a slight angle this way. When I throw this punch, I'm driving off my hip, I'm rotating my shoulder, I flare my elbow at the last second, and I want to connect below the cheek, in front of the ear, anywhere on my opponent's jaw right here. And the last punch, the uppercut, change bob around to fix the angle a little bit. From here, dip my back shoulder, bring my hand off my face a little bit and my elbow off my ribs. I rotate my hips, drive my hips forward, pull my lead shoulder back, and I want to make impact here underneath the chin on the jaw. I don't recommend punching regularly with no hand wraps or gloves on, but I have found it's a good way to train your knuckles how to line up properly in a fist for making impact on a punch. So with a surface like this, maybe you guys can adjust the bag, flat surface on the bag, and practice to see if your fist is lined up properly by making impact on the bag here. Basic punches. And just notice if you're generating any wrist or hand pain with how you punch. If you are, you might want to look at how you're throwing punches, how you've made a fist in the first place. What I mean by that is if I'm throwing punches here and I'm hitting with my pinky, I'm going to notice pain here in my fingers and probably back here in my wrist. So I want to slow my punch down, curl my wrist, and make sure my elbow is behind my knuckles at the moment of impact. Okay, let's see how we put all this together and do a little bit of a bag workout. So from here, I'm in my stance. I just want to practice stepping in, connecting with my jab, and stepping back. Stepping in, connecting, stepping back. When I can connect my jab with my target, that's when I want to step up with my back foot and connect with my cross and step back. When I can connect with my first 2 punches, I want to practice connecting with all 4 punches. So step in with my jab, catch up with my cross, throw my hook, throw my uppercut, and then step back. So jab, cross, hook, uppercut. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. The whole time you're doing this, you want to practice punching from your defensive stance, and at the end of your punch, your hand should automatically come back to that defensive position. One of the worst habits I see people doing is throwing their punch, then let it trailing forward and dropping. Instead of that, what I want you to do is throw your punch, bring it all the way back to your guard. Throw your punch, bring it all the way back to your guard. So when you're doing all 4 punches, it should look like this. If you got anything out of this, please like and subscribe. And if you have any martial arts related questions, just put them in the comments section below. I'm Michael Foley. I'll see you on the mats.